I am your goddess Nesca, here with Trucker Man. We're reacting to...
YouTuber faces 5 years in prison for disturbing isolated tribe.
Oh, wait. Okay, this guy went to
That island.
the island where people get killed? Wait, he survived? The Heffels?
YouTuber has just been arrested and is facing 5 years in prison after disturbing a restricted island and violating international law. All to film content and leave this ancient remote tribe a can of Coke. Ladies and gentlemen, we...
A can of Coke. Angel.
Are you back?
Hey, it has your name on it.
He left a can of Coke. You know, they probably took that can of Coke and burned it.
might have a new contender for the Hall of Fame of complete morons.
Yay.
An American tourist has been arrested for allegedly traveling to a restricted reserve on a remote island and leaving behind a can of Coke as an offering for the world's most isolated tribe to try.
No.
Mikhailo Viktorovich Polyakov was arrested in India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands after he allegedly visited a prohibited tribal reserve on North Sentinel Island without authorization.
So apparently we're doing this for content now.
Wow! This dumbass is so lucky. He's so lucky. He could have just been killed. He could have just got skewered. Ugh.
Well, that's a nightmare of an island that has for some reason attracted the wildest form of unwanted tourism. Now, including Mikhailo Polyakov, a 24-year-old American YouTuber known for
24.
thrill-seeking adventure vlogs and now for violating international law. He goes by the Neo-Orientalist on YouTube and has a few thousand subscribers and is currently making headlines for illegally landing on the North Sentinel Island, home to...
Leave them
That's
alone.
why we left the fuck alone. Jesus.
to the famously uncontacted Sentinelese tribe. You know, the people who've made it extremely clear that they want nothing to do with the outside world. Like, arrow to the head, level of clear.
Tucked away in the picturesque waters of the Bay of Bengal.
This is the exact same island where that one the Christian guy was trying to
Convert them to Jesus, and he met Jesus.
he
I
had
think he's still buried on that island.
he had good intentions.
A good intention, piss poor execution.
Gaul exists a tiny island that has captured imaginations for centuries. But its beauty as a tropical paradise is not what has garnered attention. Rather, it is the often violent, uncontacted tribe that calls the island home. For most, this island...
So what I got from that man got arrested for intruding forbidden knowledge, or would this be forbidden taste to a tribe?
You know they drank that Coke, they probably just exploded. Their bodies were not used to the chemicals.
Ooh, yeah, no, they would not drink that. They would, I'm telling you, they probably burned it. I don't know how, but they burned it.
I'm surprised someone's flown a drone over it. Over them.
Oh, they have?
I know, I'm surprised no one has yet.
is a window into the past and an opportunity to understand how ancient people lived. But for some, this island has become their final resting place.
Well, what did Polyakov actually do? He showed up to Point Blair, the capital of the Andaman of the Nicobar Islands, with the camera, an inflatable boat, and apparently zero regard for history or laws. On March 29th, he set off solo on his boat, which, by the way, I guess is the YouTube version of Hold My Beer. After a 9-hour journey, he reached the northeastern shore of the North Sentinel Island, ready to go full Columbus. But instead of smallpox and holy crosses, he brought a Diet Coke and a coconut.
It was
Not
a
even
Diet Coke of all things, too! Not the diet one.
Just a weird snack combo and a whistle. Come on, dude. And with this whistle, he tried to get the tribe's attention. And obviously, blowing a whistle at an uncontacted tribe, I guess that's how you get a collaboration invite.
Polyakov spent roughly an hour blowing a whistle from his inflatable boat in hopes of drawing attention to himself, but received no response. He landed on the island for roughly 5 minutes, during which he collected samples, recorded a video, and left behind a can of soda and a coconut, as offerings for the Sentinel.
Why a coconut?
Because I guess Coke doesn't have coconut flavored. I don't know.
I'm surprised he didn't leave him drugs at this point. He should have left him a beer.
Cheetos.
Cheetos.
Sentinelese tribe.
I feel like the ingredients of a Diet Coke would probably burn a hole in the tribe's stomach, man. Like, let's just, let's chill here. Let's not leave that for them. But thankfully, he didn't make contact. For his own sake, but also he did collect some sand, film on the beach, and then I guess pieced out like it was some regular beach day. Mission Trespass on Sacred Land is complete, but here's the plot twist. Back on the mainland, some local fishermen saw what he was up to and reported him. Polyakov was arrested on March 31st, now faces multiple charges, including violation under India's Foreigners Act and tribal protection laws. If convicted...
Ultimately, this is actually probably for his own good. If he didn't get put into prison for doing this, he would have stupidly decided to do this again, which would have inevitably ended up with him being the deaded.
Hey, sorry on YouTube if we hadn't seen your chat. It wasn't popping up on stream elements for some reason. Middle finger, stripper, hooker, absurd, panic, boom, hide, ow. Maybe.
That's voodoo?
Alright.
Yeah. Push button.
He's looking at up to 5 years in Indian prison, which is a pretty steep price for a simple vlog title. Why are some influencers committing crimes in countries?
It's not a steep price. It's for his own good. He needs this punishment so he doesn't end up getting himself the deaded.
India in itself is a prison. How bad is a prison in India?
Where you would never ever want to go to prison at. I mean, we just covered Vitaly. Why would you ever break laws in countries that have prisons that look like this?
Oh!
Also, honestly, the amount of time...
Yeah. This is a very good punishment to make sure he doesn't do stupid again. Oh, hey now. At least he would.
That's clean.
Of Diet Coke for those guys.
Sounds a little short for what he actually did. Because let's be real, what he did wasn't brave. This is just incredibly reckless.
Yes.
Indigenous groups, legal experts, and common sense all agree that you don't mess with the Sentinelese. Not because they're scary, well they are as well, but because we are. We carry diseases that they've never been exposed to. Contact could wipe them out, like it did so many other tribes throughout history. But for the sake of this video, let's put all the dangers to the tribe aside.
Yeah. He could have brought in COVID to them.
Well, hell, the cold could have killed them.
Let's put all the international law to the side. Let's just say, this is an extremely stupid
Hell, that Coke is gonna kill them.
Yeah.
move considering how multiple journalists, missionaries, and many more have died for attempting to do this exact thing. So, for those who don't know, let me break down what this island is and why this tribe has a history of people needing to stay far away from it.
I know
All right,
it.
picture this, a beautiful tropical island straight out of a travel brochure, white sand, blue water, lush jungle, and if you step foot on it, you might get hit with an arrow.
Hey, you. You're that
Hello to the me.
IRL streamer, aren't you? I used to do content like you until I took a 2.5 meter long arrow to the knee.
This is exactly where all those Skyrim guards went. So, welcome to North Sentinel Island, where the local vibe is no visitors ever. It's home to the Sentinelese, possibly the last uncontacted tribe on Earth, and when I say uncontacted, I mean they've been ghosting humanity for thousands of years. These
for
people
them.
are the real-life version of hardcore Minecraft. They're like that tribal YouTube channel that went like super viral for building crazy stuff with mud, but minus the excavators, because, you know, they were also exposed for that. So while neighboring islands have been colonized, developed, and turned into places where you can probably get Wi-Fi and an overpriced smoothie, North Sentinel Island have stayed essentially stuck in time on purpose. They basically told the rest of the world that they don't want any
fuck 'em.
technology. No thank you.
Yes.
The first time they were caught on
So they're the extreme Amish.
Yep, the extreme Amish.
camera, you could literally see them try to put arrows through the people filming.
At last, the first glimpse of the Sentinelese. This tribe
kill you
believes
now.
in total isolation. It will not tolerate a stranger.
As is obvious in the footage, the tribe had no interest in making friends, and rather buried half of the gifts they'd been given before shooting arrows toward the film crew.
A member of our film unit was wounded by one of the many arrows, each 2.5 meters long.
So either Mikhailo saw this, did his research beforehand, and said, screw it, a 2.5 meter arrow, that ain't that bad. Or he didn't prepare for this trip at all. But I have a feeling he kind of did, because he showed up with a coconut. And we will learn later on that the only contact that humans have had that has been a positive contact with this island has been because they were bribing them with coconuts. But if it was up to me, one simple Google search would that would make my mind up. I wouldn't go. Took me 15 seconds to realize I would never want to go to that island.
You
But I've
should
also realized
count the days to, I can't see that word. Someone introduced Johnny to these guys.
I can just
They
see.
would eat him.
What someone should do. Someone's gonna do this. They're gonna land on one end of the island, and the goal is to run all the way around the beach on the other without getting killed. You know someone is going to do that.
Extreme challenge.
It's a beast challenge.
See if your diseases can kill them before they kill you.
That there's a very big difference in how normal people operate and think compared to the people that I normally cover here on this channel. There's a very big difference. Well, the first real sighting of this island came in 1771 when a British ship spotted flickers of fire on shore, probably cooking dinner or prepping the arrows. Hard to say. But things got real in the 1890s when an escaped prisoner washed up on the island. Search parties went to look for him and they found him full of arrows. Definitely not a warm welcome. That's more like get off my lawn, but in a really intense way. Fast forward to the 1960s, Indian anthropologists decided to go play National Geographic and roll up with boats full of gifts, coconuts, metal tools, plastic stuff, basically just this weird early version of an Amazon delivery. First visit, nobody home. The tribe, I guess, just dipped into the jungle, left their huts, fires, and food behind like you weren't invited. But then came this rare moment of success in the 90s.
Imagine they just throw him back to the sea due to how annoying he is.
They would.
They don't even want to sacrifice him.
They will throw him back in the sea, but after they fill him with arrows.
Where an anthropologist named Madhumala Charuparihapi. Oh no. It's when an anthropologist named joined the crew. First woman to try, by the way, and the team floated coconuts towards the beach. And the Sentinelese actually came out to grab them. I mean, one guy even checked out the boat like he was browsing a used car lot. So that was cool because it was calm, peaceful, no one got stabbed. Great. But the next visit, things escalated. Because since 1996, it's been straight up illegal to go anywhere near this North Sentinel Island. The law says don't go within 3 nautical miles unless you're trying to get featured in some news headline saying tourist impaled by dozens of arrows on this remote island. And that's exactly what happened to some fishermen.
2 men aged 48 and 52 were fishing for mud crabs near the island. However, the pair got so drunk that while sleeping, the anchor of the boat, which was a rock tied to a rope, fell apart and drifted the men toward North Sentinel. The following morning, fellow fishermen said they tried to shout at the men and warn them that they were in danger. However, they did not respond. They were probably drunk, and the boat drifted into the shallows where they were attacked and killed.
Yeah.
Accidental death from drunkies.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Don't drink in boats.
Don't drink in boats. Don't drink
That's a
in
rough
boat next to
fishing
Death
spot. You go out
Island.
to fish and get a little drunk, and you end up in the worst possible spot ever. But recently, this also happened to another American tourist in 2018. Enter John Allen Chau, a 26-year-old missionary adventurer, and how do I put it, a guy with a terrible plan. Because I guess he hired a fisherman to smuggle him to the island because he wanted to convert the Sentinelese to Christianity, which is a very bold move. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised the Jehovah's Witness hasn't tried this yet, but I guess that just goes to show you that some front lawns can't even be passed by a Jehovah's Witness. But this guy actually wrote in his diary, "My name is John, I love you and Jesus loves you," and the Sentinelese were like, "Cool story, here's an arrow." Apparently even his Bible was hit with an arrow, and according to the people from his mission, this wasn't like John just got up and decided to do this on a whim. he tried to prepare for this.
Although, according to the head of the mission he was working for, John was significantly more prepared. All Chau's decisions, including his studies of sports science and training and working as a wilderness emergency medical technician, and classes he took in linguistics and cultural anthropology, were in preparation to share Jesus with the North Sentinelese. He was very well prepared for this moment.
So he was as prepped for this as a
Unfortunately, he should have took Jesus' hints the first couple of times he made it off the island alive.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
person, I guess, could be, and still it ended very badly. Almost like this shouldn't be attempted no matter what you try to do. The actual breakdown of what happened to John happened over 3 days. Day 1, he paddled over in a kayak carrying fish, gifts, and a Bible. When he got near the beach, the Sentinelese shot arrows at him, including one from a kid that nailed his waterproof Bible. And listen, if a child shoots an arrow through your scripture, that's probably your divine sign to turn around. But did Chau leave? No, of course not. He tried again. This time he wrote in his journal, "God, if you want me to be killed, so be it." Dude, if you believe in God, you can also argue that God gave you a brain to avoid this. But on day...
That's kind of when you're...
be going to those savages.
Yeah, he had a good heart, but is when your faith kind of fails you, you're going to a godless area, an actual godless area. There's no mercy for you.
Day 3, the fisherman watched from a distance as the Sentinelese dragged his body across the sand and buried it. John Allen Chau was killed, just like nearly every person before him who tried to enter this island without permission. So, why all the secrecy? Why the arrows? Well, again, beyond protecting their culture, there's a very real risk. The Sentinelese have zero immunity to common diseases, and even a cold could wipe them out. So yes, going there could literally be fatal to them and to you. I mean, even a Diet Coke could kill them.
My ancestors left behind those savages. Involved, but you're evolving backwards.
You would Diet Coke and kill them.
But I don't know. The point is, none of us know. A random YouTuber like Mikalo for sure doesn't know. And at the end of the day, North Sentinel isn't a lost island. It's not a mystery to solve. It's a community that just wants to be left alone. And honestly, just kind of respect that. And let's be real. If the first 5 arrows...
Yeah. You don't see people go and bugging the Amish, right? Oh God, that's the next thing. Oh no.
landing right next to you won't. Maybe the 6th will. Now, Mikhailo is currently detained in India and is due back in court on April 17th. But honestly, this was the best case scenario for something as stupid as this because he didn't actually manage to make contact with them. He got arrested instead of dying in some horrific way, and he will likely get to enjoy the rest of his life without it ending with like 80 million arrows in himself. But guys, with live streams and cameras, we gotta chill. Whether you're in Japan or Korea, streaming in public in New York City, or just trying to go to an internationally restricted island, respect the boundaries. The Sentinelese, they don't want followers, they're not interested in your clout, and they definitely don't want your can of Diet Coke. But at least he didn't live stream himself driving into a store to simply see.
reacted to that video.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Bye.